deadly face-off. Palm Beach County deputies shoot and kill a man. They say he opened fire with a high-powered rifle.
Anytime you have a guy that's got a rifle with a high-capacity magazine, you got problems on your hands.
The scene, a parking lot of a busy West Palm Beach credit union, with employees huddled inside and nearby witnesses cringing as shots rang out.
I got scared. I mean, this guy's firing shots. You don't know where the shots are going to go.
Credit union chaos. Tonight, Palm Beach County Sheriff's deputies are being praised for their quick response to a scene that could have ended with more bloodshed.
Now, investigators may well face their toughest search, trying to probe the mind and motive they say drove a man to that deadly encounter.
Tonight, we have live team coverage of the deadly shooting. Outside the Palm Beach County Credit Union is where we find News Channel 5's Dan Corcoran, who joins us with the new details on this investigation. Dan?
Well, Michael and Kelly, after a very long day and a very long night, the medical examiner is just wrapping up its investigation here on Summit Boulevard, which remains closed between Congress and Davis. And it's been that way since about 4 o'clock, and that's when investigators say multiple shots were fired and an armed suspect was taken down by sheriff's deputies. It started with an urgent 911 call.
They called and says there's a man with a rifle in the parking lot.
Just after 4 p.m., someone at PBC Credit Union on Summit Boulevard tells authorities that there's an armed man outside.
Deputies responded within about 3 or 4 minutes.
Palm Beach County Sheriff Rick Bradshaw says 3 PBSO vehicles pulled into the parking lot's east entrance, the deputies coming face to face with the suspect and his rifle.
This suspect fired at the deputies. You can actually see we have a flat tire and a couple bullet holes in the car.
At least 3 rounds hit one of the deputies' cruisers, and that's when investigators say the 3 deputies had no choice but to open fire.
When our deputies arrived, he immediately began shooting at us, and we returned fire.
In a matter of moments, the suspect, a white man in his 20s or 30s, was down on the ground, dead. Chopper 5 captures the scene from above. A few feet away from where the fatal shots were fired, a tan vehicle, believed to be the suspect's, remained running. Investigators found a backpack inside and called in the bomb squad to check its contents. Nothing dangerous was found, and the investigation into this officer-involved shooting continued long after sunset.
The deputies did an excellent job on neutralizing this serious threat to people at the credit union.
The sheriff says his team acted appropriately and thankfully very quickly. Now back out here live, still no mention from authorities about a potential motive here in this shooting. The identification, the identity of the suspect involved, that has not yet been released. That could take several more hours, likely won't even come until sometime tomorrow as his next of kin are notified. And meanwhile, the 3 deputies that were involved in today's shooting, they have been placed on administrative leave, which is protocol during any officer-involved shooting. That's the latest from suburban West Palm Beach. I'm Dan Corcoran, live with the latest.
One can, of course, imagine what this scene was like. Friday's winding down when violence suddenly grips the area outside that Palm Beach County Credit Union, less than 2 hours before closing, a time when customers are usually making their final money transactions for the week. News Channel 5's Evan Axelbank spoke with some of those customers. He continues our team coverage with their stories. Evan?
Well, Michael, so many witnesses watched everything unfold from right where I'm standing here, the corner of Summit and Davis, and indeed so many people here, new people who worked inside of the credit union. Divya Sukumar had no idea what the loud blasts were.
At the time, everyone didn't know what really happened, so everyone was calm, and we just thought it was fireworks or something else.
She was there to open a savings account and says she was one of about 10 customers inside. Police locked the building down moments after the suspect was killed.
The people that saw something were interviewed.
Neil Stevens' wife is a teller at the credit union.
You know, she heard it through the microphones in the tubes.
And tonight his mind is on his shaken wife, who had to stay at the credit union for hours while police investigated.
Shaken up. I mean, you know, she seemed calmer on the phone, you know, when the building was under lockdown, but just like I said, she's really shaken up.
He also had a word to say about the sheriff's deputies who encountered the suspect. Do you believe that they may have saved your wife's life today?
Yeah, and everyone inside. We can't ask for anything better.
Deputies are hailing others tonight, particularly their first witness, the one who called 911 to report a man with a rifle.
They definitely diminished this threat. I mean, with the deputies getting here and the attention, drawn to them rather than individuals that may have been leaving this evening, I mean, this could have been a massacre.
One question that so many passerby have here tonight, people who have been walking by the scene, people who have been driving by, they want to know what connection did this suspect have to that particular credit union. Tonight, police have yet to be able to answer that. We're live tonight in West Palm Beach. Evan Axelbank, WPTV News Channel 5.
In the line of fire, every law enforcement officer trains for it and hopes that training will never be put to use. But experts say men and women wearing the badge increasingly face people bearing firepower that can be hard to match. News Channel 5's Rochelle Ritchie talked with one veteran of police work about those dangers.
The violent, chaotic scene in suburban West Palm Beach today is the kind law enforcement officers brace for here and across the country.
This suspect fired at the deputies. You can actually see we have a flat tire and a couple bullet holes in the car.
Former Boca Raton Police Chief Andrew Scott knows what it is like for sheriff's deputies who arrived here. All of their experience, training, and instincts put to the ultimate test.
Any given time, anything can happen. And so an officer on his routine call, or let's just say on routine patrol, is now subjected to a split-second deadly force incident where his life or somebody else is in jeopardy.
Scott says those threats are growing.
We see this all over the country, that police officers are subjected to real bad things happening all of a sudden very quickly.
Palm Beach County Sheriff Rick Bradshaw says the suspect in today's shooting had a high-powered rifle, one able to hold more than 50 rounds of ammunition. With increasing and alarming regularity, law enforcement officers are facing down people with weapons that equal or exceed their own firepower.
Law enforcement agencies, including the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office, have issued their officers assault rifles. So now they're capable of matching firearm to firearm.
It's an arms race law enforcement doesn't want, but also one it says it cannot afford to lose. I'm Rochelle Ritchie, WPTV News Channel 5.